Barcelona hosted the team from Naples in a Europa League last 32 game at the Camp Nou. 1-1 is how it ended, with no one taking an advantage to the second leg. In this video we take a look at the tactics from the game. Before we get into it, please like and share this video. And if you have subscribed, please do so for this type of Barcelona content. Let's start. This is how both teams lined up. In defense, Barcelona looked to press really high. Aubameyang led the press really well, causing all sorts of problems to the opponent. Our very best chance earlier in the game came from a high press. Aubameyang leading the press. It eventually comes to Pedri, who fires just over the goal. They hardly troubled us, relying on counter-attacks through Victor Osimhen, but we defended with a very narrow 4-4-2. The stats shows that we totally dominated Napoli, with 66% possession compared with their 33%. But look at the amount of offsides they have, which backs the fact that they just sat deep trying to hit us on the counter. Look at the clearances they had to make and the interceptions they had to do in order to stop us. This all shows that we didn't have to defend a lot. When Barca had the ball, Napoli pressed in a 4-4-2. But they weren't as narrow as Barca's shape, so we had an easy time getting through their press. So when Napoli looked to press both our centre-backs, Xavi had his full-backs go high to pin back their wingers. Nico Gonzalez and Frenkie de Jong had to form a pivot to draw their midfield too. And that freed up Pedri to receive in these regions and then look to progress. In the final third, Barca played with a dedicated back three. Sometimes it was one of the fullbacks, and even Frenkie de Jong at times. When Pedri dropped off to build from deep, Ferran Torres often dropped into the half space to prevent the midfielder from pressing Pedri. This tactic was from Xavi, but that often opened a channel for Aubameyang, and that led to a major goal-scoring opportunity for Ferran Torres, which he couldn't finish off. The whole reason for that structure on the left is because Ferran Torres is not an out-and-out winger, so he sort of played like a second striker, and that link-up play worked perfectly. But when Adama came on, he was basically keeping width on the other side, but that's how it was on Barcelona's right side in comparison to the left side. Barcelona pressed Napoli really high. They hunted in numbers, overturning possession in really good areas. The press had a structure. 3 players went in to press really hard, and we had 2 players who were ready for the second ball. This was a structure that went out through the whole game. But in open play we defended in a 4-4-2 shape and very narrow as we have seen for some time, leaving no space between the lines for them to exploit. But as against Valencia, when the ball went wide, particularly Pedri became a fifth midfielder so that the wingers can go out wide to defend the space on the flanks. But as the defense statistics shows, they had to do more defensively despite the possession being almost even, which isn't a true reflection of the game. That also shows about us pressing really high, but they had to do more tackles and clearances, and we made more interceptions showing that our pressing was on point in this game. In possession, Barcelona tried to build through one side of the pitch, dragging the whole Napoli across to one side, similar to what we did against Valencia. But like I said, Xavi has really improved our positional play because we actually build in a 4-3-3 shape, which is what we started with. Everybody in position, which is a big plus for us. No one had to drop off to where they normally don't play. But we didn't build all the time from the back. Xavi knew they would press high and he wasn't scared of letting Mark go long. From our possession we actually completed 7% of long passes from distribution. The 92% passing accuracy in our own half should tell you how flawlessly we played through their press. It seems as though Xavi has worked out a formula on what his men have to do on both wings in the final third, and it's really effective. On the right wing we know it's Adama who has the license to go one-on-one against his man. He has a simple task of receiving the ball wide, beat his man and get to the byline looking for accurate crosses. And it's devastating because he has already 5 assists for Barcelona. Nowadays Barca fullbacks are inverted rather than making overlapping runs. The reason behind this is to not only occupy the half space, but it also drag back the opposition winger narrow, which means less counter-attack danger, and more space for our right winger to destroy his man. On the left, Ferran Torres is much more inverted. Not only is this a scoring position, but he can also link with Aubameyang and the midfielder. The space then left by Torres is occupied by Jordi Alba. Frenkie de Jong takes up a wide position to eliminate any danger down that side. But this leaves Sergio alone in a big hole. Xavi covers this by having Dest invert from the other side to keep the distance small between the midfield three. Ferran Torres and Aubameyang is developing a great partnership, because when Ferran Torres receives, Aubameyang always runs in behind to draw their backline backwards, creating a lot of space for Ferran. Overall it was a phenomenal performance from the boys. We should really be proud. A feel-good moment for Barcelona. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't subscribed, make sure to do that because I would really appreciate that. Let me know what you think about the 2 legs against Napoli. Be happy my family and always be your best. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.